All right, welcome back. Today we're continuing our RBT exam review of our latest mock exam, where we're going through the next set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. If you're looking for our proven study materials, please check out btexamreview.com. We have for 3 practice exams, a study guide, and of course our famous combo pack. We also have a join button now on YouTube if you'd like to support us further. When you pass, please let us know so we can include you in our Sunday shout out. Other than that, let's work hard, study hard, get to our questions. Question 1. Larry is a smart boy, but he struggles with impulse control when asked a question. He will give an answer without thinking about what he is going to say. What dimension should be targeted to improve Larry's behavior on thinking through a question? Okay, starting off with a pretty difficult question, right? I don't think the answer is immediately apparent unless you've really been studying. So we're going to have to think through this. We always think through the questions before looking at answer choices. So what does the question give us? Well, we know we're looking at a dimension to target to improve Larry's behavior. So typically we're talking about a measurement dimension. And we know Larry is a smart boy, but he struggles with impulse control. The problem is he gives an answer without thinking about what he is going to say when asked a question. Meaning, question is asked, the SD, instead of thinking, he just answers immediately. He gives his response. And that's not what we want. We want Larry to slow down, think more, and then give an answer. So, what are we trying to do here? Okay. If asking the question is the SD, giving the answer is the response, what measurement does that make you think of? A, enter response time. Enter response time is the time in between two responses. We're not dealing with two responses here, right? We're dealing with the SD of asking a question and then Larry's initial response. B, latency. What does latency say? Latency says we are looking at the time in between an SD and a response. Seems exactly what we're looking for here, because if we can increase the latency between the SD and the response, maybe we can get Larry thinking more about his question. So latency looks pretty good. What about duration? Duration is the total time of a single response. We're not timing Larry's response, right? We're looking at the time it takes Larry to respond. And then rate, of course, has a frequency component. There is no frequency component here that's going to help us. We need to increase that time in between the SD of asking a question and the response of answering that question. We need to target Larry's latency. A group of kids are trick-or-treating on Halloween night. One of the kids is allergic to peanuts, so she must dig through the bucket to find candy without peanuts. What skill does she need to do this? All right, let's think about this question. We're looking at the skill, and we're looking at the skill specifically of the kid who's allergic to peanuts, and she has to dig through the bucket to find candy without peanuts. In order to do that, what does she need to be able to do? Well, she needs to be able to tell the difference between candies, because if she can't tell the difference between candies, she can never ever figure out which ones have peanuts, which ones don't. So, what skill does she need? A, differential reinforcement. Differential reinforcement is not a skill. Remember, this is the intervention. Now, differential reinforcement teaches skills, it teaches discrimination, and it teaches differentiation. Differential reinforcement is not the skill. B, differentiation. Differentiation has to do with responses, where where different responses occur given the situation. Are we looking at responses here or the stimuli? Well, we're dealing with the stimuli here, okay? Because she's going to pick candy regardless. It's the same response. We're worried about the candy she's picking. We're worried about the stimuli she's picking. So what she needs to do is execute stimulus discrimination. She needs to be able to discriminate between candy with peanuts and candy without. The discrimination is a vital skill for her to have. What about task analysis? Again, task analysis, like differential reinforcement, is a intervention. It's a procedure, not a skill. The skill we are looking for is discrimination. That way she can tell the difference between candy with peanuts and candy without. You are a behavior technician working in home with a client. Client's mom does a lot of research on various autism cures. She often asks your opinion on these cures, which sometimes include creams and oils. How should you respond when you're asked about these cures? In the autism community, there are a lot of snake oil salesmen out there, a lot of miracle cures that they sell these parents and these families. And often these parents and families turn to us for advice. Now, You, as a behavior technician, have a limited role in giving this advice. Okay. The golden rule is when you're asked a question like this, you refer to your supervisor. You're not in a position to answer this type of question. Even if you've done your research, it is not your role. So, if you're in the situation where they're asking you about these miracle cures they found out about, how do you respond as a registered behavior technician? A, ask her to show you the research she found and go through it with her. Not your place, right? It's not your place to train her, to go through it with her. That's not your role as the technician. B, when you get home, conduct your own research and follow up with her on what you found. Unless you were given explicit permission to do this, you shouldn't do B either. Again, it's not your place, right? This isn't your case to do that on. You're there to implement. C, direct her to your supervising BCBA for these questions. Yes, this is almost always going to be the answer in questions like this, right? We're always supposed to keep open communication with our BCBA and only engage in conversations and trainings that were qualified and approved to administer. And then D, take data on the behaviors once she starts using the creams and oils. Now, this is a possibility if everybody's been talked about or everyone's talked about it, your BCBA is given the go-ahead, maybe you start taking data on the use of these creams and oils. But you don't just immediately start. Your role as an RBT is to implement. So if you're asked a question like this, you should direct her immediately to your supervising BCBA for these type of questions. You start a new job as an RBT at your local ABA clinic. Second week you're there, your BCBA invites you out to have drinks with her and some of the other RBTs. Are you allowed to go out with the BCBA and other RBTs? Now, this one takes a little thought. It might be a little tricky because there's not really a definitive line with friendship in our ethical code. What does the ethical code say is prohibited? Well, being in a relationship with your supervisor, okay? You can be in a relationship with other RBTs. You just can't be in a relationship with your direct BCBA supervisor. Now, being friends with them, going out and having drinks with them, nothing in our ethical code says you can't be friends with your coworkers. So in this case, you're there. Seems like they want to be friendly with you and they just want you to come out and have a good time. Is there anything wrong with that? No, you must maintain a strictly professional relationship with your coworkers. Not true. This applies to your clients, right? Dual relationships apply to our clients. We must maintain, if your client were to ask you out for drinks, you cannot do that. B, no, you're not allowed to date your BCBA. While true, is that what the question is asking? No, we're not talking about dating here, okay? We're just going out having friendly drinks. So B is irrelevant to this question. C, yes, you're allowed to be friends with your BCBA and coworkers. Yes, this is the answer you're looking for. There's nothing against you being friends with your coworkers. And then D, yes, you can date your supervising BCBA. That is false, but again, not relevant to the question. The question is asking about going to have drinks in a friendly manner. Are you allowed to go out with your BCBA and other RBTs? Sure, you're allowed to be friends with your BCBA and coworkers. Aaron is supposed to be taking frequency data on a learner at an assessment that he is helping with. He asked the learner's brother to watch the learner real quick while he steps outside. He's gone for 10 minutes. What is the issue here? Okay, so immediately you might be thinking, well, he shouldn't be gone for 10 minutes, right? And you're partially right, okay? Leaving the client alone for 10 minutes when you're supposed to be delivering an assessment is an issue. More specifically, if he's taking this frequency data, that's continuous measurement. And with continuous measurement, you have to record continuously. He can't give up 10 minutes of data because then the continuous measurement is not as accurate as it could be. So what is the issue here? What is the issue with what Aaron did? A, Aaron should not be helping with the assessment. No, RBTs are more than capable of assisting with assessments. No problem there. B, Aaron should not be taking frequency data. Again, nothing wrong with that. It's just event recording, right? So again, no issue there. C, Aaron should not leave for an extended period while taking continuous measurement. Yes, to the fullest extent possible. Okay, when you are on the clock working with the client taking continuous measurement, you need to be around the client. That's the ideal of continuous measurement. It captures every single instance of behavior. 10 minutes is a long time miss a lot of behaviors. And then D, Aaron should not involve the sibling. Absolutely not. The sibling is great. It should be involved as part of the environment. Sibling could be a stakeholder potentially. Nothing wrong with that. Problem here is Aaron left for 10 minutes, and he should never, ever leave for an extended period while taking this continuous measurement. Praise, money, and tokens can be considered. Which of the following? All right, think about praise, money, and tokens. Okay, typically we consider these what? Well, reinforcers, right? Money is a reinforcer for pretty much everybody. Everybody needs money. Okay, even if you don't need a lot of money, even if you don't make a lot of money, even if you're not too concerned with money, you still need some sort of amount of money. Given a lack of money, you would work for money. Okay, so money is considered a reinforcer. What the question is asking is these three things, what type of reinforcers are they? A, generalized conditioned reinforcers. Now, break down this phrase. Generalized meaning you can use these reinforcers anywhere, right? So you can praise just about anywhere. Money can be delivered and tokens can be delivered just about anywhere. And then conditioned says, well, they're learned, right? And praise, money, and tokens are all conditioned reinforcers. So praise, money, and tokens are generalized conditioned reinforcers or GCRs. B, primary reinforcers. Primary reinforcers, in other words, are unconditioned. They're unlearned. Praise, money, and tokens are not primary. They're secondary. C, unconditioned reinforcers. Praise, money, and token are not unconditioned. They're conditioned. D, none of the above. Well, B and C are incorrect, but A is correct. Praise, money, and tokens are considered generalized conditioned reinforcers. A mom buys a huge bag of candy to give out to children who come to her door on Halloween. Her children start asking if they can eat a piece of the candy. The mom tells them if they clean their room, they can have one piece of candy. Kids go upstairs and clean their rooms. The mom used what? All right, so kids are given a contingency, right? If you do this, then you do this. So what did the mom use? Well, a contingency. What is a contingency? A contingency is an if-then statement, right? If you do this, then you do this. First you do this, then you do this. The mom said, if you clean your room, then you get a piece of candy. Contingencies are what we should be using constantly throughout session. Why is this not a bribe? A bribe is the opposite. A bribe would be, here's a piece of candy, now go clean your room. See how that's different? The reinforcer is delivered first, and then the response is requested. A contingency reverses that, and that's what we need to be using, contingencies. It's not a task chain. We're not teaching steps in cleaning rooms or anything like that. And it's not a high P request sequence, right? We're not asking basic request or high probability request, right? She simply says, if you do this, if you clean your room, then you get this, then you get candy. That is a contingency. There are several major elections about to take place over the next couple of weeks. Mail-in ballots provide opportunity for more people to vote in these elections. What type of measurement would the ballots fall under relative to the people counting the ballots? Okay, kind of a difficult question, right? It's kind of funnily worded, or worded funny, I should say. Let's think about it a little bit. We're looking for a type of measurement, okay? And what type of measurement would the ballots fall under relative to the people counting the ballots? So we're concerned with the people counting the ballots. And the key here is these are mail-in, okay? So you're at home, you have your mail-in ballot, you fill it out, you drop it in the mail, somebody in the office receives that ballot, count your vote. Did that person watch you vote? Did they watch you mail it? Did they watch you do any of the actions it took to get that ballot to them? No, but they can still measure it. What do we consider that? A, duration. Well, duration has nothing to do with the measurement ballots, right? We're not timing anything. B, rate. Again, there's no frequency here and there's no timing. C, permanent product. Yes, a ballot is a permanent product of your vote. Nobody has to watch you vote. Nobody has to watch you mail it in. But once they get the ballot, they can measure your response. And then D, time sampling. Again, time is not involved. What you're looking for here is permanent product. The people counting the ballots do not watch you vote or mark your vote or mail or anything, but your behavior still counts. They can still measure it. That makes it permanent product. Finally, the primary role of an RBT in service delivery is what? Easy question, but I always like to go back to it. It's very important to know. We talked about it earlier in the test. What is the primary role of the RBT? A, assist in parent training. Yes, this is part of your role, not your primary role. B, assist in assessment. Again, part of your role, not your primary. C, implement programming. Yes, your job is to implement. Awesome. Thank you for watching. Please check out btexamreview.com. Have a wonderful Halloween, as always. Like, subscribe, questions, comments, let us know. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.